What's the deal with journaling? Why is everybody into it? And how do we get started? In this video, I'm going to break down to you the 5 easy steps that you need to start taking in order to start journaling. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Bennett Schwartz. I'm a high performance coach and I help people live a both richer personal and professional life. So if you're looking to live a wealthier life, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you stay till the end, I'm going to actually share with you the #1 reason why I believe everybody should be journaling. And it's actually not what you think. When I started out on my own personal development journey, I saw that so many high performers were actually journaling. And I was like, well, I don't want a diary. So I recognized that I needed to learn a little bit about what this journaling thing was. And after a couple of years of doing it, it's really something that has been such a tremendous thing in my own personal life. I have my own journals that I go through, and really going back through them is something that is so powerful. But recognizing that if we want to get better in anything, collecting the data of whatever it is that we're doing, we can actually look back and we can see what it is that we need to be doing. So therefore, when it comes to our lives also, we need to collect the data in order to make sure that we have it, in order to know what it is that we need to be doing, what's working, what's not working. So recognizing that a great way to collect our own personal data is to actually put it into a journal. Because we can go back, we can review it, and we can see what was going on both in a professional and a personal life to see why it is we had certain successes. If you're looking to get better, if you're looking to do more and become more productive, you need to have a journal because it's going to be the one place where you could put everything in and you can go back and have the history book of your own life. So how do we get started? The first tip that you need to understand is that more important than anything that we're going to talk about is we need to be consistent with the journaling. And it doesn't mean you need to do it every day. It doesn't mean you need to do it every single week, but we need to be consistent with it. Because like any habits that we want to start to do, if we're not going to be consistent with it on a basis, then we're not going to end up doing it at all. And it's more important to make sure that we're going to be doing it at a certain time to really make sure that we're actually going to be doing it in the long run. And that also means that the things that we're going to be putting in the journal are going to evolve over time. I'm going to mention a few things in a second about what it is we can actually start putting in our journal, but recognizing that over time, your journal is going to evolve. It's going to look differently. It's going to have different formats. And once we start recognizing that, we can recognize what is it that I should be doing right now to make sure that I'm actually going to be doing it on a consistent basis. Because if we end up not doing it, it's going to be like that time you learn to play guitar and just put it down after 3 times. Once you have your specific time when you're actually going to journal, and of course the more the better, we have to understand that we need to just get something to journal in. So many people like using their phones, their iPads. I'm a big fan of actually having a pen and paper out, and you can really go on Amazon and get a journal for like $6 or $7. You could go to one of these stores and pick one up, but they're usually like 3 or 4 times the price, and you can really get some cool ones online. But one of the things that people ask me is like, what color should I pick? What color pen? Should I use pencil? Should I be using sticky notes? Should I be doing all of these different things? And my opinion on this is that it really doesn't matter. Whatever we're going to be doing, whatever is going to be the most convenient for you to do it is going to be the biggest thing. For me, I didn't used to put any sticky notes in my journal until I realized, you know what, there were certain times, certain days that have a really big impact that I know that I'm going to want to remember and go back to even in a couple of months. So make sure to put something there just so I can find it a lot easier. But to say that you need a specific color, to say that you need a specific color pen, it really doesn't matter. It's all preference. But what I don't want you to get caught up in is the fact that many people have so many rules within their journal that if one thing is missing, they're just not going to journal. And what's going to happen is that you're going to end up by losing certain days. You might lose weeks and then months, and then you're just going to stop altogether. Make sure to try to keep it as simple as possible so you can just grab it with you. You could grab a pen, you could start writing. Some people like writing in different colors, depending on what they're writing about. Just recognize the more complicated you make it to start writing in your journal, then the more complicated it's going to be, and the harder it is going to actually be more consistent with it. The third idea is to actually talking about the actual writing. And many people ask me, like, what's the format that I should have? Should I do bullet points? Should I do this? Should I do that? And the idea is that you just need to start writing. And that's the really cool thing about the journal, is that we need to start writing. Whether that's writing about certain ideas, whether that's to write about certain things that are going in our life, certain accomplishments, whatever it is that we want to do, we need to just get that pen and start writing. If we can start writing and not put any rules on it, that is going to be the most authentic journal that you can have. Writing your feelings, what's going on, what's happening, what are some wins, what are certain things that are going on that you can start doing, but recognizing that, you know what, maybe you just want to draw a picture. Maybe there's certain things going on in your life that you want to write to like your future self, which I thought was really cool one time. But recognizing that that we can do certain things in our own journal that is going to be something that is going to be transformational. We just have to make sure that we're just writing. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about the format. Just getting things on paper is going to be the biggest part about actually taking those steps to journal. But number 4, so once we start to write, the question is like, we want to have some type of structure to our journal. So what are certain things that people end up doing? So here are a couple of ideas that people actually use when they start to journal. The first idea is to actually recognize that people like writing their goals down. If we can have a clear vision of where it is we want to be going, many times we'll be able to do the things that we want to do and actually accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. I remember when I started writing my journal, I wrote my ideal schedule out. Just about like, what would I ideally want to have in my specific life? I was working a 9-to-5 at the time, and I recognized that if I could start doing certain things, if I could start writing down and picturing out my days, what would I want it to look like? And the craziest thing happened when a couple of months later, that schedule actually happened. I ended up becoming an entrepreneur. I ended up doing the certain things that I wanted to do, and I was doing the hobbies that I wanted to do and making sure that I was focusing on everything that I wanted to really be focusing on. It is extremely important to write goals down in general. I'm going to make a total other video on goal setting in general, but just recognize that one place you could put down your goals is going to be in your journal. The next idea that you could start writing in your journal, I got from Mel Robbins, and she speaks about how we should be writing down things that we're appreciative for, meaning write 3 things that you are grateful for today that's going on. It could be something big, it could be something small. If you want to really challenge yourself, try not to write the same thing 2 times, but don't go too crazy with it. But recognize that if we could start showing our appreciation for things, we're going to be able to start living that meaningful life. It's something I speak about in my masterclass, but recognizing that if we really want to be able to start living the life that we want to be living and not be so affected by everything that's going on in our lives, making sure that we're appreciating things is going to be crucial. So starting your journal every day with 3 things that you're going to be appreciative for is going to be a tremendous way that you can actually start your journaling and start your day out. And what was really cool for me personally was when I started writing down things that I was appreciative for, I started to notice myself throughout the day recognizing things that I was appreciative for. Like imagine you're just walking in your house and all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I'm really grateful for that banister right there. Like you never even thought that was a thing to be grateful for, but you know what? No, I was holding a lot of things and like, I really need to lean on it and that really helped me out. So recognizing that this is actually going to be tremendous for you and your growth is going to be a really cool part about what it is that you're going to be looking to do and really just start to appreciate things in your life. The final idea I want to share with you is to actually write down the wins that you've had. Whether it's going to be daily or whether there's going to be a spot in your journal that you can actually write down your wins. So many people nowadays are so hard on themselves that they can actually just look to appreciate what it is they accomplished. It's actually going to help build their self-confidence, their self-worth, and really show them, you know what, I've done X, Y, and Z. Because there's going to be times in life where we're actually not going to feel like we deserve it. We're not going to feel like we're being successful. But if you could go back to our wins section and recognize, you know what, no, I did X, Y, and Z, and I've done all of these things, and I actually feel really good about myself, that's going to be a feeling that we can actually go back and have the data to prove, you know what, no, these are the things that I actually did. The 5th step might be the most important, but it's actually going over your journal. So I usually have 1 day a week where I actually go over my journal to just see what actually happened. There's also 1 or 2 times a year where I actually go over all the previous things that happened in my journal from that. And I think it's so incredibly important because there's one thing about collecting data, but if we're not going to look at it and if we're not going to recognize it, then what's really the point of having it? Yes, in the moment there's a time and there's a thing that we can actually start doing for it, but recognizing that, you know what, I'm able to actually look at my data and I can actually look to change myself, that's going to be crucial. There are a lot of people who come over to me and say, Bennett, I keep getting burnt out. And when I ask them, like, what do you mean you keep getting burnt out? And like, how often? They tell me, well, I don't really know. So once we start writing things in our journal, we can actually go back and see, oh, wow, what are the things that happened? What are the events that happened prior to this that got me burnt out? And then we can start to play with the idea of what it is that we need to start doing to start making those changes. We can start making those changes. Then we can actually look to see what it is that we want to be doing and start living those lives that we want to be living. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, why is it that everybody should be journaling? And for me personally, if I would ask you how much you would pay for one of your grandparents' journals or great-grandparents' journals from back in the day to see what it is that they went through and what are the challenges and the ups and the downs and the things that they persevered through and the things that maybe they didn't persevere through, how much would you pay for a journal like that? You see, we have an opportunity right now to have a tremendous effect, whether it's going to be on a global level or whether it's going to be on a personal level, whether it's going to just be for the people that are surrounding us. We all have people around us who care about us. Imagine if we were able to hand them a book of what really happened in our lives to say, you know what, these are the things I went through. I'm human, you're human, and these are the things that we can actually get through together. Here are the hard times, here are the thought process, here are the things that I went through. That could be an invaluable gift to the people that we love and the memory that we want to share with them moving on. So yes, although it might take some time to actually build up journals, recognize that if we can have something that we could pass on to the next generation to say, hey, I'm just like you, I went through my own struggles and I actually was able to do X, Y, and Z, that we actually can have that effect on those people and really look to change not just our lives, but anybody who actually reads our journals moving forward. This isn't to say that we should give them right away, but recognize that there's certain things that we can actually have in our journals that is going to be extremely beneficial for the next generation. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed any of those tips, make sure to hit the subscribe and the like button. And if you also want to check out my masterclass where I talk more about journaling, make sure to hit the link below.